Welcome back. You're watching Beyond the Headline. The situation remains tense in Paris over the killing of a 17-year-old delivery boy. French President Macron has called the violence unjustifiable. We are talking about what's happening in this city. It's day 3 of the unrest in the French capital. Rioting, looting, arson has spread. Nearly 4,000 fires were reported on public roads last night compared to 2,300 fires the night before. Some 40,000 police officers have been deployed to quell the protests. Police have detained over 600 people, out of which 300 were from Paris alone. At least 200 police officers have been injured in the clash. The government has stopped short of declaring a state of emergency, a measure taken to quell weeks of rioting around France that followed the accidental death of 2 boys fleeing police in 2005. In his recent statement, President Macron said that the victim, Nahil's death, had been instrumentalized, denouncing the unacceptable exploitation of his death. Condemning the recent violence, Macron also said that the situation was unacceptable and unjustified. He's outlined a series of measures to quell the violence, but it hasn't worked yet. He's asked parents to keep their children away from the riots, noticing that some of those participating were very, very young. He's also faced backlash after he was seen, that's Macron, seen partying with singer Elton John amidst the riots. He and his wife were seen at a concert and were filmed at Paris's Accor Arena last night while all of this is going on in the city. We're getting a better idea of what's happening right now. I'm being joined by Elijah Desaias. He's a war zone correspondent. Elijah, thank you for speaking with us. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly. Just give us a sense of why the violence has spiraled so viciously. I believe there was a video of this young delivery boy when he was shot that went viral and started it all off.
Thank you for having me. Actually, the question is much deeper than that. First of all, the 2 policemen who arrested the youngsters of 17-year-old lied to the justice and said that they felt threatened in their life. That was before everybody seen the videos on social media and how one of the policemen shot the driver just 1 second after he started to depart with his car, which means that there was no direct threat or indirect threat to the policeman. And the prosecutor considered that a deliberate homicide and arrested the policeman and put on garde à vue his companion, who also lied in his testimony. The problem of the suburb of Paris and other cities in France goes back to 1981, when it started in the city of Lyon, in the east side of the country, and then we had it again 1989, 2005, 2018, and it is always the same problem of the city and the government considered that these people living in the suburb of the big cities are marginalized. They don't have the right that we in Europe pretend to hold democracy and giving human right to all the citizens to be equal together and consider them as one nation rather than looking at the color of their skin or from which country they have immigrated. This is the behavior of the police. And today, what the government is doing is sending to the street armed vehicles like we are at war and in a war zone. Moreover, the police has been given in 2017 the right to use lethal weapons against anyone they think it may cause threat to their life. We're not in the United States where people are allowed to carry guns and pretend to have a direct fear to their life. So I think the root of the problem is not addressed.
Elijah, you've put that into context very well. There are racist undertones to this entire violence. There are long-standing issues of immigrants and how they are treated. Nevertheless, what we've seen in the last 24 to 48 hours is clearly a breakdown of law and order and an inability to contain the violence once it has started spreading. Talk to me about how the role of President Macron is being seen right now.
Well, first of all, President Macron was elected as a president, but was not the choice of the population. We have to remember that he got 23% only, and all the French people voted for Macron because they wanted to avoid the right-wing Marine Le Pen to take the presidency and control the country. And he himself said that. So there is a gap between the leadership and the population. Secondly, Macron is taking decisions to go and deliver money and billions of dollars of euros to Ukraine rather than spending it in the suburb of or the city or domestically, and being very unpopular by imposing the pension scheme using his right, which is a constitutional right. It is lawful. It is, according to the law, is correct, but it's not democratic because he stopped the law from going through the National Assembly and prevented the parliament from voting against his decision. So yes, he is unpopular. His choices are not the right one. Here in France, we suffered tremendously from the economic problem and the recession and the inflation because of the decision of Europe to boycott Russia, stop the flow of gas and oil, and then buy it more expensive at a higher price from other countries who may very well be buying it also from Russia. So all these decisions are unpopular and they disagree with the well-being of the population. Also, when they speak about we have the freedom, we have a fake freedom. When the government said that they want to stop social media, that is not a freedom of expression. When Julian Assange is put in jail and risk 155 years, that is not a freedom of press. When Ursula von der Leyen is passing on a bill to the European Union saying that to have the right to spy on journalists in Europe and identify who are their sources. This is a fake democracy we're living in. It's no longer the case. So people in France, in the suburb, who are treated not equally, even if they are immigrant, but they hold the French nationality. They have equal right as every other white or black or whatever color is the skin of the person. It is the right of a citizen. It's not the right of the skin of the color.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a deeper issue. In the latest coming in, the government of UK has also issued an advisory for its nationals who are in Paris right now or in other parts of France. Thank you so much, Elijah, for joining us live from Paris there. Stay safe, and we hope this tides over sooner than later. And let's take a look at what has been the cause of this entire crisis.
Unrelenting barrage of fireworks. Arson. Vandalism. And balls of fire. This is the ground situation across France. The reason? Watch this. Tuesday in a Paris suburb. 17-year-old of North African descent shot and killed by a cop during a traffic check. Two officers leaning into the driver's side window of a car. Suddenly, the vehicle pulls away and one officer fires. The car is later seen crashed into a post nearby. This death unleashed unprecedented tensions. Angry residents setting everything they can on fire. Over 40,000 policemen doing their best to quell the outrage. Over 600 protesters arrested. Even the mayor's office in a suburb of Paris was not spared. French President Emmanuel Macron is doing his best to contain the rampage. But so far, there aren't many signs that the violence would de-escalate. To be factual, this resentment has been brewing for a while. Rights groups and those from ethnically diverse suburbs of France have had long-standing complaints. They have constantly called out police violence and systemic racism inside law enforcement agencies. Racially motivated killing. This is exactly what the mother of the teen victim had also termed her son's death as. The police say Tuesday's killing was the third fatal shooting during traffic stops in France so far in 2023, down from a record 13 last year. 3 such killings in 2021, 2 in 2020 as per news reports. The majority of victims since 2017 were black or of Arab origin. The intense protests, it appears, is a culmination of these complaints, and people's patience is now wearing thin.